father had worked as foreman of a taffy apple factory, but when he was laid off, they'd had to move to an apartment while he worked a lower-paying job. And the apartment didn't allow dogs. The landlord had given Willie's family 1 month to get rid of Cracker. That was 25 days ago. Willie felt a sharp pain in his stomach at the thought. Cracker felt Willie's unhappiness and whined. When they stopped in front of their apartment building, Willie suddenly fell to the ground in front of her and hugged her so hard it actually kind of bothered her neck. What was going on? "You're the best dog in the world," Willie said. "Good girl." Willie stood up again and looked sadly at Cracker. Anxiety filled her. She jumped up and placed her paws on Willie's shoulders, almost knocking him over. Willie cracked a smile, and Cracker felt a little better. At the top of the stairs, she scratched at the door to his third-floor apartment. She could never open that door. Willie had to use his key. Every day he did the same thing, held up the key and said to her as if she were slow-witted, "Key, need key." At the other place they'd lived, the door had pushed open when she grabbed her paws, just right around the knob. Willie opened the door and immediately headed for the bathroom. "Mom, I'm going to take my bath." He didn't want his parents to see him crying. They already felt bad enough. But he hesitated just inside the bathroom, as he thought maybe he did want them to see him crying. Maybe then he would be able to keep Cracker. But he knew that wasn't true. He'd already cried a lot, and nothing had changed. Crying wouldn't get his father's job back. He closed the door. "All right," he could hear his mother call out. She and his dad were watching TV. He took off his Cubs jacket. As far as Willie was concerned, the Cubs were going to win this year's Eastern Division, and Willie thought about them almost as much as he thought about Cracker. Some people thought the stupid Mets or Pirates would win the division. Willie wasn't allowed to use the word stupid out loud, but he liked to think the word to himself whenever he felt annoyed. He'd heard his father use the word just once, during an argument with his mother about the Vietnam War. His parents, uncle, and aunt were all playing bridge, and then all of a sudden they were yelling about the war. There were several 100,000 American troops in Vietnam, and every day the news reported protests against the war. Ever since Willie's favorite cousin, Derek, had been drafted, Willie wrote all his school current events reports about Vietnam. Willie's father supported the war, and his mother didn't. And then, with the job layoff and the move, well, things weren't going that well for Willie. Except for the fact that Cracker was a girl and Willie was a boy, Cracker and Willie were, as his mother liked to say, peas in a pod. They both weighed 110 pounds, and they were almost the same age. Willie 11 in human years, and Cracker 1 year and 4 months, which Willie had decided was actually 11 in dog years. They both had sandy brown hair in the exact same shade. And Mom also pointed out that Cracker and Willie thought alike. For instance, they probably agreed on 2 of the biggest problems in their lives, that they lived in a small apartment without a yard, and that Willie went away for several hours a day. But once Willie came home from school, life was pretty much perfection, even without a yard. They went out to play with the neighborhood kids until dark, came inside for dinner, went outside for a walk, and then slept on their twin bed together. And now Cracker was about to make Willie's life miserable. But he just smiled at her. He'd tried to tell her, but she hadn't understood. Cracker felt life was bliss, too, though it wasn't quite perfection, and for precisely the reasons that Willie's mom thought. Furthermore, Cracker considered Willie a bed hog.